Alright, hello folks, welcome back. Last night I finally got to watch the Netflix Bob Ross documentary, Happy Little Accidents, Betrayal, and Greed. And believe me, there was a lot of surprises in there. Now there may be some minor spoiler territory here, so if you haven't watched it yet, you might want to watch it first and come back and see if you feel the same way I feel about things. First off, the whole betrayal and greed thing really caught me off guard on who they were talking about in this. Uh, I thought for sure that it was going to be Bob's mentor, the guy that kind of introduced him to the style, Bill Alexander, because I know that there was a rift there, and that was more of a, you know, between Bob and Bill, but that's not what this documentary was about at all. And you really feel for Bob. And number one, the first thing I can tell you is that this doesn't in any way tarnish Bob Ross the man. Bob Ross the man, the way he appears in this documentary, is every bit the guy that we think he is. Seemed like a super wonderful guy that just got caught up into the business side of things with some pretty bad people. It will make you rethink about Bob Ross Industries and your bobbleheads and your vinyl pops and your Bob Ross mints. It will make you rethink all that. Now we all love Bob, and we all want to show our love for Bob with all these t-shirts and dolls and everything. But you may rethink that after watching this documentary. Steve Ross, Bob's son, and you get his side of things, and Steve was kind of there in the middle of all this as a kid growing all the way up to adulthood, witnessed all these things, and it's really a crazy story. It's not Tiger King crazy, but it's pretty dang close. Now there was only 3 or 4 people in the whole world that was involved in all this, out of hundreds of people involved, that were willing to come forward and actually participate in this documentary. And I think it has to do with the people that this documentary is about. And again, I don't want to spoil anything. If you really want to know what was going on, I would watch it. And if you watch the whole Bob Ross Industries video and all the sweet little things that they've been putting out, you might rethink all that too. The Kowalskis, the couple that runs Bob Ross Industries, you might really rethink what they're doing with Bob Ross's name and how they got it. Steve Ross is I think he is definitely doing his father proud with what he's doing now. Dana Jester, who's also was one of Bob's closest friends and also a painter who guest hosted the show several times. He's in it, and you can tell he's a true friend because he's not afraid to come on there. There's a couple of other business partners and ex-business partners that coming in and out, but it really is a crazy tale, and it's a tale that even me is a big Bob Ross fan. I haven't heard this stuff before. There are some pretty crazy things that they talk about in there, and as with anything, once you start mixing business and money into it, the greed and betrayal and backstabbing, unfortunately, is going to be part of it. That's art as a business It's very hard because Bob Ross was an artist who loved doing art. He loved people. He loved helping people through their lives, and he had a very hard time himself. So when you start mixing money into that, when you start packaging and selling yourself, or somebody else does for you, things can get bad. Now, the whole business arrangement allowed Bob to be Bob and do what he wanted right up until the end. And you'll see how that went towards the end, at least from one side. Now, I've understood that the Kowalskis are very happy to sue anybody that disparages anything that they've done, and I think that's why there was a very limited number of people there. If you don't know who the Kowalskis are, you'll find out watching this documentary. And again, I don't want to say much more than that because I'm already spoiling it somewhat, but just a very, very rough time for our good friend Bob, especially there towards the end. Now, where he got the lymphoma from, that's also, there's some speculation in there. Who Bob was messing around with, there's some speculation in there. And I don't, this documentary, if you're a Bob Ross fan and you love the man Bob Ross, this is not going to change that one bit. But it is very eye-opening, and it will make you realize that no matter how good your intentions are, no matter how good of a person you are, when it comes down to business and money, what they're all going to tell you, it's not personal, it's just business. And they will happily box you up and sell you. So, very good documentary, very awesome. I highly recommend watching it. And like I said, it's a tale that hasn't been told before, which is hard to find in documentaries. It's not Tiger King crazy, but it's got plenty of crazy in there that will keep you riveted. It's only an hour and a half long. Super good watch. I couldn't stop watching it, but of course I'm a huge Bob Ross fan. But these are things that I didn't even know. I assumed it was going to be about the rift between Bob and Bill Alexander. Barely mentioned in there. This is a whole different level of greed and betrayal. So check it out. I would give that thing a 5 out of 5 stars. Awesome documentary. Actually, an inspiring documentary. It's inspired me so much that I do believe that I am, and I've talked about it a little bit, I am going to start a whole separate channel just for my live art shows. And I'm going to keep it just for that. And whatever happens with that channel happens, but I just need a place that's separate from the rest of my crazy YouTube life where I can just go do an art show. And so it's actually an inspiring documentary. Very good, very nice. Highly recommend it. Check it out. It's a Happy Little Accidents, Betrayal and Greed on Netflix. It's an hour and a half long, and it's not an hour and a half wasted. It's very much an enlightening type of documentary. Y'all rock. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Love y'all.